I'm Christine Dychiao. I'm a certified KonMari consultant, and I'm here to guide you on how to declutter for the holidays, as well as sharing how you can turn your clutter into cash. This is brought to you by the Greenhills Community Yard Sale happening from November 27 to 28 at the J Strip parking. I'm pretty sure many of us have spent a lot of time at home because of the pandemic and realized that we live with too much stuff. And we have so much clutter at home that it has caused us a bit of stress, trying to make space for our work from home area or the distance learning space of our kids. One great thing about realizing that we need to declutter is that we don't just clear out stuff from our homes. We also can make some money out of it too. The tidying method I will be teaching today is the KonMari method. Its philosophy is rooted on mindfulness and gratitude. It's really less about getting stuff out of the house, getting rid of things, but more of keeping what sparks joy and what serves us. It has changed my life and that of many others, and that is why I'm here to share the method with you. A little about myself. As I mentioned, I'm Christine Dychiao. I'm a certified KonMari consultant, and my husband and I have 3 young children. It's my experience as a mom that actually compelled me to learn this method. As our family grew, I didn't know how to organize our things, get rid of things. I was holding on to a lot of things, and of course that led to stress and clutter. And nothing really worked until I came across Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. I remember in her book she would say, gather everything, pull everything out from wherever, from the bookcase, from the closet, and then take a photo. It was different from anything I've ever tried. And she would say, go through each piece, say thank you to the ones that you want to let go of. And you know what? It worked. And the great thing was it was manageable. It applied to everything in the home, even our pantry, even our storage area for our china. It really was easy to maintain. It wasn't just good for the first day or the first week. How I ended up finishing this is how it looks like now. So I swear, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone who wants to live a tidy, clutter-free existence can do it if we want to. So in 2017, I went to the States, met Marie Kondo, and took her certification course. I learned about how I can teach tidying to others and help everyone as it has helped me. And in 2018, I became a certified KonMari consultant, the first in the Philippines. The KonMari method is actually all about just following the 6 rules of tidying. It was developed over a span of 20 years through trial and error. So it's tried and tested, and I guarantee you, if you follow these 6 rules, you will be successful in tidying in no time. So what are the 6 rules? I'll run through it quickly and then we'll go deeper into each rule in a bit. So rule number 1, you have to commit yourself to tidying. Rule number 2, imagine your ideal life. Rule number 3, finish discarding first. Rule number 4, tidy by category, not by location. Rule number 5, follow the right order. And rule number 6, ask yourself if it sparks joy. So let's begin. Rule number 1 says we have to commit to tidying and celebrate tidying. What does that mean? We don't say we'll try. And we have to change our mindset. A lot of us think of tidying as a chore. It's kind of the last thing you want to do. It's something that takes up a lot of time. So the approach really is kind of from a tentative, anxious perspective. But she says, if you think of tidying as a celebration, that you are liberating yourself from clutter, you're actually 90% there. Your success rate is probably at 90% already because your mindset is, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna liberate myself from clutter. I'm gonna have a clutter-free space. So if you believe that and commit at least just 3 hours of your time, you can really see a huge difference in your space. As Master Yoda says, do or do not, there is no try. So you know how it is when you invite friends over to say like coffee or dinner, and then they'll say, okay, I'll try. You pretty much know 50-50 that you know they might not make it, and at least the friends will say, oh, count me in, I'll be there. You know that they're gonna show up, right? So that's how it is. Just say, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna show up. You're 90% there. Okay, rule number 2, imagine your ideal life. What does that mean? Simply by visualizing how the space will look like, how you will feel as you move through that space, how you will use that space is actually a great way already to start. In this example, my client said, I just want a clear clutter-free work area. I have my favorite oils on my table. I have a diffuser. There's music in the background, and I can really work. So it doesn't have to be very fancy, something as simple as that. And you can see that in less than 3 hours, we got what she envisioned. So you just have to imagine how it will look, how you will behave in that space. Are you smiling? Are you contented? How do you feel? It's really just that, and you're gonna be clear in your head what you want to get out of it. You're gonna get it. Okay, rule number 3, let it go. Let go of stuff. A lot of people, when they tidy, they just move things around. They put it under the bed, in another closet, in another room, but you actually have to physically get the stuff out of your house. So here's an example. This was a pre-pandemic work desk. It actually became a junk table because it wasn't really used. She was using it as a place to store stuff that didn't have a place to go to. But because of the work from home situation, she had to clear it out, let go of a lot of the stuff. And true enough, she got a pretty decent workspace. Then she realized, you know what, I don't need all of these things here. So she let go of other stuff pa. And the magic really is not just the number of items taken out from her table, but really during the middle of the pandemic, she got an offer from her dream company and she got her dream job. So the effects of tidying is more than just physical really. It really impacts your life as well. Okay, rule number 4, tidy by category, not by location. A lot of us were taught as kids, clean your room, let's clean the garage, let's clean the bodega. It's always a place. But it's recommended that we tidy by category. Why is that? Simply because when you gather items of the same thing together, you are shocked to see how much you have of a certain thing. So if you have a lot of clothes, you'll see a mountain of clothes. If you have a lot of books, you'll see a mountain of books. And that kind of also rewires your brain into realizing, hey, I don't want this to happen anymore. I don't want to spend so much money on these things. Or simply, you just realize, I have too much stuff, maybe I should stop buying. So you start with your clothes, gather everything in one spot, and then just return what you decide to keep. Next would be your books. So the next category are books. Don't just pull them out from the bookcase. You have to physically get them out of the bookcase, put it on the floor or on a table, and then go through each book. And then just put back what book you decide to keep. Next category would be paper. So this is pretty common. A lot of us don't know how to deal with paper. It can get very taxing just going through paper. So the trick is, instead of filing as you go, create piles. So have a piles for immediates, meaning items, paper that you need to deal with immediately, maybe bills that need to be paid, checks that need to be signed, documents that need to be submitted. Then have another pile for limited. So these can be paper that you need to keep for a limited period. So warranties for appliances, tax returns, anything that has a short to medium term time frame that you need to refer to, keep it there on that pile. And then have a pile for indefinites, meaning things, paper that you need to keep indefinitely. So these are typically important, very important documents like passports, land titles, art certificates, usually valuable that you want to keep in a safe eventually. Some people want to have different categories. They want to have a pending file, paper they have to keep, paper they want to keep. It doesn't matter which kind of categories you'd want to do, but the key here is do not file as you go. Create piles, sort them out, throw anything that doesn't fall into any of the piles, and then just file whatever remains. Okay? So you see, her table, the client's table, was neat and clutter-free. She could actually work on this space. Okay, next category is komono. That's Japanese for miscellaneous, which means if you are going to cover toiletries, makeup, stuff in the kitchen, that's it. So anything that's not clothes, books, or paper. That also includes toys, hobby equipment, sports equipment, and stuff like that. So in this example, this was the toys of this little boy, and he was very good. In less than 3 hours, he tidied the entire area before toys were spilling onto the couch. And after tidying, he actually was able to contain everything in 2 bookcases. The great thing here is there was extra space for more toys. Toys that spark joy. Now, the 5th category would be sentimental. And in this example, that would be the stuffed toys on the top shelf. It was the mom's sentimental items. She couldn't let go of her son's stuffed toys, some of the son's stuffed toys. And so that's why there's rule number 5, we followed the right order. You start with the easy ones, clothes, books, paper. And then you do the komono, which is typically a big category because there's a lot that fall under that. And then you end with sentimentals. This is because sentimental items are the hardest to let go of because there are memories and emotions attached to these things, and you'd want to save it for last because it's not going to be easy letting go of sentimental items. But the key to sentimental items really is you keep them because they spark joy. Don't keep them because you're guilty that somebody might find out that you gave it away, or you're afraid that the person who gave it to you might feel bad if they find out that you threw it away. So remember, just keep things that make you happy. That's key. So yeah, there's rule number 6, the most popular of all. When you cannot figure out what to do with a certain thing, ask yourself, does it spark joy? Now, spark joy can mean different things. It doesn't have to be absolutely like, wow, I cannot live without it, spark joy. It can also mean that, yes, it sparks joy, but it also could be something that just has a function, it serves you, maybe a stapler or a hammer. They don't exactly spark joy, but when you need them and they're there, you're grateful to have them around. Now, if you can marry form with function, that's the best, right? And then, there are things that you need to keep because of future joy, meaning you will use it in the future for sure, not maybe or one day, but for sure. For example, it's a winter coat. You're not traveling now, but you know that once it's safe to travel and you're gonna go someplace cold, you are going to use it. So that's future joy. It doesn't mean that you're keeping it because you might use it. You know for sure that you will use it in the future. Okay? So remember, this method is life transforming. It will change your life, your perspective, how you shop, how you make decisions. It will even change your relationships because you decide, does this person spark joy? And you no longer want to be surrounded by things or people that are toxic for you. So you will never revert to clutter because you know how to deal with clutter. Whereas before, you wouldn't know how to start, where to begin. And so the next thing you know, 1 year has passed and the clutter has just piled up in the room. Because you know how to deal with your stuff. In 30 minutes, even if things pile up, you get busy, the house gets messy, you know that when you find time for it, you can clear it out in 30 minutes. And the key really, if you want to live a clutter-free life, is to surround yourself only with what sparks joy. So absolutely joy, functional joy, future joy. Those are just the key things to remember. Do not make room for clutter. Everything in your home has to spark joy, has to serve you. And remember, this is because clutter has a cost. Clutter is costing us not just, space. It's really about time you lose looking for lost things. Sometimes you end up buying something you already have, so that's money lost. Sometimes you forget to pay a bill because you can't find it, then you pay late fees and penalties, so that's money lost again. Clutter affects our health and our well-being, both physical and mental. Studies have shown, both from the UCLA, the Princeton Neuroscience Institute, they have shown a direct link to clutter. People who live in cluttered homes typically are more stressed. They are less focused and less productive. So think about that. And yes, as I mentioned, do not deprive yourself of the space. A lot of people think they need to, renovate or create an extra addition to the home because they don't have space. But actually, if you just declutter your things, you will find that space opens up and that saves you money. So remember, when going through your things, be decisive. It's really just a couple of decisions anyway. You either decide what you want to keep, which is, the spark joy stuff, and then you throw away or discard things that cannot be repaired or cannot be used or too, shabby to give away. Now, ideally, you want to reuse, repurpose, and recycle. I think that's the best way to show gratitude to our things. Really use them, repurpose them. They don't have to be used for what it was bought for. But if you do not really have the time to do those things, think about those things, maybe it's better off donating these items to people, family or friends or foundations or organizations who would really appreciate and use them. Now, the best scenario, of course, would be to get some value out of the items that you have decluttered. And one great way is starting a yard sale or joining a yard sale. So I'm telling you more about the Greenhills Community Yard Sale happening November 27 to 28 from 4 to 11 p.m. at the G Strip parking lot. What to expect? Okay, so there will definitely be selling. And of course you can buy, if they spark joy, you can shop at the yard sale. There's barter trading from 6 to 7 p.m., a charity auction from 7 to 8:30 p.m. For the benefit of the Independent Production Workers Group or IPWG. This event is brought to you by Smart and Cat's Events Management. To join, you have to sign up for the Ortigas Community Card. Here's how you can sign up. Just go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download the Ortigas Mall's mobile app. Remember to click membership and then community card to register. So if you present the card to participating establishments at Ortigas Malls, you can redeem discounts. And of course, you can enter or join the yard sale. So, knowing what you know now, here's my proposed tidying plan for you. Make sure that you set a schedule days before so you don't rush the process. Don't just do it on a whim. You kind of have to plan for it. Make sure to tell your family members so that they don't plan anything in advance and they know that they can't bother you around that time. Remember to designate a holding zone. You're gonna be pulling stuff out. Kind of warn people in the house that this is off limits because I'm pulling out stuff in the closet. So at least expectations are managed. And remember to take before and after photos. I think it's a great way to track your progress. Sometimes it's not so obvious because everything's out. But when you start looking at photos, you realize, hey, things look better. It looks clearer. The space looks brighter. And you can give yourself a pat in the back for the job you've done. Remember, it's not going to be obvious in the beginning. So it really helps to just plod along and just, continue on. The next thing you know, you have a clear, clutter-free space. Number 4, be decisive. Now, it's really a practice. It's harder in the beginning, but as you get used to the idea of, do I keep, discard, donate, sell, it becomes easier. So remember, just go through the process. Your decision-making ability gets honed as you go along. And remember, if you are selling, you may sign up for the Ortigas community card so you can join the yard sale. And remember, once you decide to keep certain things that spark joy, store them and organize them nicely and neatly. So I promise you, by following these tips I've shared with you, your home will clear up in time for the holidays. You'll start the new year with a beautiful space, and you can make some money too from decluttering. And with that, I wish you a happy tidying weekend, and I hope to see you at the Greenhills Community Yard Sale.